Greetings, everyone. We hope a great weekend. We are here as usual to respond to your questions. So if you have a question, please write in the comment section. We'll try our level best to assist you. But let's look in this video into the court process or the court case that will come up mid-April. I think it's the 11th of April 2023. I've heard lots of comments, people talking about the court case. We said from the onset that we are not part of the court case, but we know that a number of ZEP holders are pinning their hopes on the upcoming court case in April, the Helen Suzman court case. We once discussed previously in another video on what we think is likely to happen. And there have been questions that have been posted to us or sent to us. So in this video, just want to respond and give our own perspective in terms of what we think is likely to happen. You will recall that we've discussed in this channel the ANC policy document, which is now a proposal to go through the parliamentary stages, as we said. And the proposal which we've discussed, and you have the document, most of you, is that there's going to be an overhaul of the Immigration and Citizenship Act. Morning, Comrade Langelihle Mthembu. My daughter is called Langelihle, so I named her Langelihle. So when I say name Langelihle, I think of my daughter. Now, what I'm saying is that there's a proposal to overhaul the Immigration and the Citizenship Act, and so that it will be difficult for unskilled people in the main not to work in South Africa, or people of low skill not to work in South Africa. And we spoke about other proposals that they seek to implement, like removing separating marriage from a migration question or issues of permits, specifically the relatives visa, the spouse visa, and others to be removed. It's a proposal. But when we're discussing that document, the view that was expressed by some who have a legal background is that that proposal will need South African Parliament to amend the Constitution. Otherwise, if it does not, South African Parliament does not amend the Constitution, it will mean that a lot of people then turn to the courts, and the Constitutional Court is likely to rule in favor of those that will be taking government to court. So it is also possible that in mid-April, whenever judgment is passed, that the Suzman-Hellman court case might rule in favor of ZEP holders. And if it does rule in favor of ZEP holders, as I understand, the request is not to grant permanent residence to the holders of the ZEP, but the request is to extend the ZEP. So it is possible, therefore, that a government might respect the decision of the court, extend the ZEP. If the decision is to extend the ZEP maybe for another 3 years, what can then be discussed is when does the 3 years start? Does it start from the 1st of January 2022, given that the ZEP expired on the 1st or on the 31st of December 2021, or it will start from the day the judgment was delivered for another 3 years? That will be a temporary relief to holders of ZEP if the court rules in their favor. But after another 36 months or so, and if Parliament will have amended the Constitution and adopted the proposals that are contained in the ANC policy document, it means then that after 36 months, ZEP holders will find themselves in the same situation where they are, to an extent that if the Constitution is amended to ensure that the proposals are in line with the Constitution, so that government will not be accused of violating the South African Constitution. So it means that ZEP holders will only have that 3 years to sort themselves out. After 3 years, again, will be expected to move to another visa. Failing to move another visa, you will have to relocate. That is likely to happen. So we know that if, say, the court will rule in favor of ZEP holders in April, there will, of course, be celebrations. But the celebrations will not mean that it is permanent, because 3 years is not a very long time, as we now all understand. It is indeed not a very long time, but it brings relief to others who are still making arrangements to relocate, whether they want to go back to Zimbabwe and so forth. But if the Helen Suzman Foundation was asking the court to grant permanent residence to ZEP, it's a different thing altogether. But what I saw, unless I stand corrected, is that there was not enough consultation when the decision was made, and therefore the Helen Suzman Foundation is asking the court to give ZEP holders time to whether prepare themselves to leave or to move to other visas. In other words, to renew the Zimbabwe exemption permit or close it down and start another visa or permit, a special permit, as was the case with the documentation project in 2010, DZP, Zimbabwe's special permit in 2014, and then in 2017, Zimbabwe exemption permit. And then start another special permit, not under the name ZEP, for another 3 to 4 years. Then after that, the anticipation is that the constitution will have been amended to give effect to the proposals that are contained in the Immigration Act and the Citizenship Act, as proposed by the African National Congress in its migration policy or immigration policy. Please share your views of your own understanding. Like I said, if you have questions, please send them through. We will again research on some of these matters and get back to you. Please circulate this video. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Otherwise, goodbye.